What's up, everybody? This week, Sarah and I take a look at the biggest selling album in the UK in the 1990s. What's the Story, Morning Glory by Oasis. That and a whole lot more is to come, because maybe while the world still spins round, we still don't know why. Welcome to the show.
So what do you think of my new voice, guys?
It's what happens when I just, take the script and run with it.
Well,
So,
it's fantastic.
you got to roll with it this week, right?
I shouldn't look back in anger with that one.
Oh, yes.
But, that's one thing I love about Sarah. She is electric.
Yeah.
Hey, now let's drop it. Okay.
But
Welcome, guys. We are officially back.
dad jokes and all.
Dad jokes and all.
Yes.
Oasis puns and all,
You know it.
Exactly.
Is that the vibe?
You know it. You absolutely know it. It's been a little while, but we are in season 4, and
Yes.
season 4 sees a little change. As you can tell, I'm not alone. I have the wonderful Sarah with me.
He's not alone.
Okay, Jarvis is going to show up at the door any second.
Yes, he is, but that's okay, because that's like naked booty Jarvis, and I'm okay.
Oh, yes. Shake the booty. But one thing we decided while we were off is the fact that we're going to do a little bit of a change for this season. We are going to be exclusively for season 4 between now and the end of the year doing reviews only.
Yep.
Ooh. And the great thing about it is that we have 2 major holidays and an American holiday, which I still don't have an idea what the hell it does. We are going to be having not 1, but 2 Halloween episodes this year.
Ooh.
One will be dropped on our regularly scheduled date, which is now a Saturday. Yes, we've changed to Saturday, as you might have noticed. And the other one, we will be dropping a second one on Halloween night.
Yay.
It's going to be creepy and kooky, and we're going to be reviewing 2 modern horror films, and I think you can guess which 2 they are.
The Conley Family.
Okay.
We are horrible.
Maybe we should do the Addams Family. No, anyway. But also, we have...
Is it made with real Girl Scouts?
Oh, yes. Yes, they are.
Okay.
But we're also doing a Christmas-themed special, too. We have 4 movies of Christmas and New Year movies that we will be reviewing, including one of my favorite, the only New Year movie I could possibly find that was made in the 90s. That's not Love Actually. 4 Rooms? You up for it? Yes.
Always. Did they misbehave?
Yes. But we will get to all that later on in the season. All that in the bag of chips later on in the season. A couple more housekeeping things before we carry on, we get going. We have launched a spin-off series. Or we will be launching a spin-off series, I should say, called the Because Maybe Podcast Right Here, Right Now.
Yes.
Again, stolen from another Oasis lyric.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
We have too much stuff to just chat about. I mean, the 90s are, everything.
The 90s are great. The 90s are awesome, but at the same time, I've got a lot of... I just like talking. I like doing this stuff. So, me and Sarah are going to get together. Me and Greg are going to get together.
He talks a lot.
Yes, I know.
And a lot more.
Yes. We've already...
And then a lot more.
And a lot more. We've already recorded episode 1. It went really well. We're just tuning it up and getting everything right. And we will be releasing this exclusively to the Because Maybe Podcast official YouTube channel. It will be released to all you audio heads exactly 1 month later. But this is a YouTube exclusive. We want to drive as much traffic over to our YouTube channel as possible. Talking of YouTube and episodes, we also have started putting full-length episodes of this podcast up on YouTube. They will be released 2 weeks after they drop on the podcast apps.
Yep.
And the great thing about it is that our sarcastic teenager has been helping us edit them. And they look brilliant.
Which is good, because our sarcastic teenager, I'm going to brag for a moment.
Brag away.
Yes, our sarcastic teenager got accepted into her first choice for university. Yeah. So, which will be in film editing. So at Full Sail.
Yes.
So
as of today, we would like to officially welcome to the podcast team, no longer our sarcastic teenager, but video editor Tara Johnson.
Yes, our snarky senior Tara Johnson.
Yes. Now she's unfortunately this season we're also dropping those things because quite honestly, I can't be bothered to write them.
There's a lot that more that go into it than you would think, just for the amount of time that they last.
And plus, she's hard to work with. She's a diva. She,
Aretha didn't have nothing on this one.
No. Just ask her to empty the dishwasher and whoo. Let me tell you something about you that you don't know.
Yes.
Now, I got to bring something up because you did something to me this week that I'm never ever going to forgive you for.
What'd I do?
You brought me into your little planner world.
I did.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, I've had a big change in my 8 to 5, and I've had to start taking notes for certain things.
Yes.
And instead of writing this stuff up by hand or typing it out, I've got me a little book, and I was like, I need some stickers.
Yeah, I've lately in the last few months, well, I mean, I've had a bullet journal forever. And well, okay, let me back up. I am the list maker of list makers.
Yes.
And John, when we used to both work at the office together, he would get tickled when he'd walk by my cubby and there would be a gigantic whiteboard. And the first thing on the to-do list would be to write the to-do list. So this is like, that's planning to the nth degree has always been my wheelhouse. And so I've recently been introduced and gotten sucked in and seduced into the happy planner world. And there's stickers. Oh, the stickers. There's stickers for everything. Except for one thing. Okay, so if anybody in the planner / sticker / Etsy world with your little crease cut or silhouette or whatever you happen to use is listening to this and you're a sticker designer, I desperately need something for a sticker size for a classic happy planner that tracks word counts for writers. I can't find writer word count stickers. I can't find writer stickers anywhere. So if anybody has a writer planner kit, oh my Jesus, point me in your direction. Seriously, drop us a line, hit me up on the Twitters or the Facebooks or the whatever, and I will be your new BFF.
And she means that too. And she's a very good BFF too. I have to say that. She she has a lot of perks. Get your mind out the gutter. I was talking about your personality.
Yes.
But,
okay.
But one thing that we tried to do this summer, or you tried to do this summer, you tried to do the whole Marvel thing.
Yeah, we're big Marvel nerds.
By we, she means her and the children.
Yes.
Not that I don't like comic book movies. I'm just there's too many of them, and I can't get my head around it.
Yeah, he's like, once you've seen Batman get his butt whooped, you're done. So, no, but we attempted the Summer of Marvel. We did not get as far as we would have liked, but we started from the very beginning, and not necessarily chronologically in the way that they were released, but chronologically on timeline. So that means starting off watching the first Captain America movie, and then the entire first two seasons of Agent Carter, and then watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., certain episodes interspaced with different movies, like Iron Man, and then watch more, and then Iron Man 2 and watch more, and then, well, yeah.
You get the idea.
You get the idea. So, we got further than I thought we would, but we didn't get as far as I would like. We got all the way to the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, because we got, 3 seasons of S.H.I.E.L.D. through, all the Iron Mans, the Hulk, Captain America's, both of them. The first Avengers, yeah.
I think they need to make another Hulk movie, but
Well, yeah.
They do because
anything with Mark Ruffalo's hair.
Yeah, because I watched parts of the Hulk movie and I wasn't impressed. Especially and it's got Ed Norton and Liv Tyler in it. That's the bit I don't understand. How the heck was I not impressed with those two in the dang movie?
Well, they don't really have that. I mean, I don't think they have that great chemistry.
No, they didn't. They're both great actors.
They're wonderful actors. They're just not
together.
Right. Yeah. Now, speaking of what I am super, super stoked about. Okay, people. Captain Marvel is coming, and it is relevant to this podcast because it is set in the 90s.
Oh.
Yes. So, they just dropped on Entertainment Weekly today as the day that we recorded. They're apparently this next issue is going to be full of pictures from behind the scenes and whatnot. And let me just tell you, Captain Marvel running around in her faded jeans, leather jacket, shield hat, and her 9 Inch Nails t-shirt just warm my little 90s girl heart. So this is definitely something that I am stoked
The only thing missing, I guess, was Shirley Manson hair.
Yes. Yes. But the whole thing is set in the 90s. Fury has 2 eyes. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's how much I don't watch these things, because I know that's Samuel L. Jackson, but it's like he got 2 eyes. Oh god.
No, but they did. I mean, they've CGI'd the crap out of him. I mean, he looks younger than he did in Pulp. So, and he's got like a little baby afro too. It's very weird.
Royale with cheese.
Mm-hmm. No, he was letting his soul glow in that one hair-wise, right. But no.
Well, I might actually watch Captain Marvel then. I might sit down and watch it with you. That might be our new guilty pleasure, especially with the Doctor coming around the corner, which we will talk about in a little while, but we're not going to...
Is it 2nd or 7th or 4th? It's somewhere in there. There's whatever Sunday falls in there.
Yeah, it's sometime in October. Sometime in October.
It makes my nerdy heart happy.
Yes, so we'll talk about that later. Talking of more nerdy stuff, and one of the things I was a big fan of last year that everybody's least favorite wrestling company did, they did the Mae Young Classic, which was an all-female tournament, and it had some folks in it that both you and I grew to.
Yes,
like Jazzy.
Yes,
Piper.
Yes.
Tony Storm.
Kimberly.
Yep. Mrs. Wrestling, all that kind of stuff. And they did another one. They've done another one. And this kind of goes back to what happened a couple of months ago with the British tournament. They recorded it so far out in advance.
Everybody knew.
Everybody knows what the results are, which doesn't give you a point to watch it. But there's a part of me that was so happy and so angry at the same time as... Anyway, so the new tournament that's coming out, right? We've already had, Flash Morgan... Welsh. Now we got Tegan Knox, who is from the same hometown as my grandparents are. Like, I've wandered the streets where she has.
Ooh.
And I know that sounds really, really weird, but you got to understand, with the exception of the Manic Street Preachers, nobody came out of that area of the world.
Right.
I mean, especially, considering they got the right numbers of fingers and toes. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is because the tournament results are now known, and... Number one, it doesn't give me an incentive to watch.
Right.
Because, the spoilers are out there. And it would be different as well, just ignore the spoilers. But it's like, back in the 80s, right? Empire drops.
Right.
And Fox and Lucasfilm go, you'll never guess that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. Spoiler. That's kind of what they did here. And I guess the reason they had to do it was because Tegan suffered a really, really bad injury.
Yeah, she got a boo-boo.
She, from my understanding, she broke her kneecap. And her leg.
Through her skin, didn't it?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure. But, we hear best wishes to everybody and everything like that. But she is she's my new hero.
It's a bad Mother Gemma.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. So... that is basically our ranting and raving done for right now. We actually...
And this also ties into the beginning.
Yes, it does. We do...
Simply because our sarcastic senior will now be where she's going.
Yep.
Will be where they film all that stuff.
That's right. Yeah, our sarcastic senior is going to Full Sail University.
Yes. So...
I feel old. I feel ancient.
But now she can call and give you spoilers.
Yeah, she can give me spoilers because she works there. But
there'll be NDAs.
There we go. Yeah, probably. That's okay. She can keep a secret.
She just bring you tickets.
Yeah, that will be fine. Okay. Consider that a donation, as it were.
Speaking of donations.
Speaking of donations, okay, we got one more thing to talk about before we actually get started in the meat and potatoes. We are about to launch 2 things that we're just getting the last minute touches together. We are starting our own Because Maybe podcast store where you can buy some t-shirts, stickers, and just junk. We're doing it for a bit of fun. We're not. It's something I've always wanted to do and say that I've done it. We are also launching our own Patreon page. Simply put, a lot of the delays that we've had over the last couple of months have been because of interference with certain things, and it's just we're not begging, but if you like what we do, throw us $1. Just once a month, and we'll gladly up our production value, up our research value, and everything that we need to make this thing better.
And it's there's stuff in it for you too.
Yeah,
for you, the listener.
For you, the listener. For you, the wonderful, awesome listener.
We're putting together packages that are, we even have packages available where you get to come spit the jams with us.
Yeah.
Or it could be us, as in the royal we, as in myself, or I mean,
You could join me and Greg, because Greg's going to be joining us this season too. I'm going to try and get Molly back on. Our Sarcastic Senior is going to be joining us for a couple of episodes as well. So,
So you have a plethora of personalities to choose from.
Yes, but all of that will be coming soon, and we will update you when it happens. It'll probably be around episode 3 by the time we've finally ironed out all the information. So just keep your eye out on that. Where can you keep your eye out on that? Well, social media, of course, social media. Everything's on social media now this time. I'm surprised our fridge isn't on social media.
They have fridges of social media.
Oh, my word. The only thing more
you need a router in your fridge.
Right.
So it can email you when your milk's going bad. Literally. It can text you about your milk.
Social media is as bad as Skyrim, just showing up on every format available.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Spectrum Skyrim myself, but guys, if you're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, look up Because Maybe Pod. We have a blog that I write badly and she edits at becausemaybe.podcast.wordpress.com, and we have, obviously, the YouTube channel. Go search Because Maybe Podcast on YouTube. We are right there, and we are available. You can listen to sample episodes. You can listen to full episodes. Some things that we'll put in there. We're going to be doing extra episodes, and, of course, the brand new Right Here, Right Now series. So, like I said, we've got a lot of things. Again, it's taken us a while to get everything together, but we now are ready to rock and roll and do what we need to do.
Absolutely.
So, talking of rock and roll, we will be back momentarily as we talk about one of the greatest albums released of the 90s.
Yay! See you in a bit.
Review Corner.
So,
yes,
here we are.
Yes,
October the 2nd, 1995. The release date of one of the most critically acclaimed albums in British music history. Now, we touched briefly on it in the Britpop episode, and we're going to go more in depth on it today. The reason why is I wanted to correct some things about the Britpop episode, number one. And number two, it's... Even though we had a glance at it, it is highly more interesting than that glance gave. And especially the overhyping and the overplaying of it.
All right.
Okay, so for those of you who like, information and numbers and stuff like that, it reached number 4 on the Billboard Top 100 albums, and UK album charts was number 1 straight in. Sold between 17.6 and 22 million albums. Now that number is disputed. Most of the record books say 22 million, but some genius says it's 17.6. But either way, that's still a huge amount of...
It's more than most will sell.
Yeah, and that's just one album. It was produced by Noel Gallagher and Owen Morris.
Yes.
For those label nerds, it is a Creation Records or Sony Records production, and it is in the genre, as we mentioned, of Britpop.
Yes.
So, why or how did this album come about? Well, they were contractually obliged to make 6. This is album number 2.
Right.
No. Definitely Maybe was the debut album. If you haven't listened to our review on Definitely Maybe, go listen to it. Definitely Maybe was just a phenomenal album. Probably Oasis' best work aside from the Masterplan. But the Masterplan was B-side, so it doesn't really count. But the band almost didn't make it this far. I mean, their first American tour just... almost tore them apart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was...
horrible.
Horrible. They got so stoned one night.
We did get Talk Tonight out of it, though.
We got Talk Tonight and Half the World Away.
Yes.
And I think the Head Shrinker, too, but I'm not sure. But, you could tell the relationship was bad. I mean, they released a bootleg of the guys arguing.
Which I have.
Yes, she does have.
Yeah, I've got Wibbling Rivalry.
On CD.
No, I've got the original vinyl press.
Ooh, there you
Yes.
go.
See, some things I still keep hidden from my husband.
Yes, I know, because I'd have worn it out by now.
Right? No, but that tour was so bad that when the next tour, the 98 tour, came out, like, I made sure to buy the first show of that tour. I got tickets for the first show, which was an adventure up the East Coast, and, well, that's another story for another day. But yes.
During this time, the band was having tension not just with the Gallagher brothers, but with drummer Tony McCarroll.
Yes.
Needless to say, the guys didn't like him that much. At all. If you ever get a chance to read a book called Getting High, Life on the Road with Oasis.
Hewitt.
By Pablo Hewitt.
Yes.
There's a whole chapter dedicated to their relationship with McCarroll.
Yeah, wasn't that great.
McCarroll thought that they were just, being banterous with him the whole time, but their insults were generally meant to be insults.
Yeah.
So they hated him. And basically, between the recording sessions they did in January, where they recorded a couple of songs, some might say Acquiesce, the Head Shrinker, and It's Good to Be Free. I think it was good. No, it wasn't Good to Be Free, but it was actually Acquiesce, the Head Shrinker, and some might say my
Yes.
that was McCarroll's last session, and he was let go the week after Some Might Say was released as a single. Also, they were having problems with Glastonbury.
Right.
Oasis and Glastonbury have never mixed, which is weird because Oasis were the biggest band of that era, yet they could never get it right at the biggest festival of the era.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be fair, I get why they didn't get it right. They had just hired Alan White.
Right.
So he basically,
He didn't have time to gel, yeah.
He didn't have time to gel, even though he's a phenomenal drummer. And Mark Coyle, who was the sound engineer, live sound engineer, was having hearing difficulties.
Right.
And trust me when I say that when you're doing live sound, you have
need
to have
your ears.
Yeah, you need your ears perfectly. I mean, I've heard horror stories about guys whose ears were so bad that they didn't even realize there was no bass playing through the amplifiers. Yeah. So, it's... So, McCarroll was fired, sued the band for unpaid royalties.
As one does.
But he was replaced by Alan White, brother of British drumming legend Steve White. And kind of had an interesting kind of role in how, it's kind of like a spider web, right? All parts met each other. Okay, at 15, White auditioned for Game Archer's band.
Right.
Who would later replace Bonehead.
Right.
When Noel heard him for the first time, he was drumming for Ida.
Right.
Who was Andy Bell's fiancée at the time.
Yeah.
Who was also a future bandmate.
That 6 degrees of separation will bite you in the butt.
Especially with Creation Records, too.
I know, right? They're almost inbred.
Creation Records is basically a supergroup.
Yes.
In waiting. As I mentioned, the album was produced by Noel Gallagher and Owen Morris, who used the brick walling method, which is basically lots of compression, lots of loudness, and getting everything up to the red line.
Well, yeah, I mean, Noel said himself, he wanted to spectre it. That was his version of the wall of sound. So, yeah.
Was it, Morris would go to Liam Gallagher, "You're John Lennon," and Gallagher would reply, "You're Spectre," or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah.
And to be fair, the Owen Morris did that sound is brilliant. I love that. I use that when I do my own mixing. It is an Oasis album without legal problems regarding some of the songs. Last album it was the Shaker Maker, which
I like to buy the world of coke.
Yeah. Well, this time it was 2 tracks. Hello.
Yes.
And Step Out, which was pulled from the album because of it. Because Stevie Wonder wanted more than the 10% that Noel Gallagher was offering him.
Right.
So, again, the Gallagher brothers fought the whole time during the recording, which is not unusual. And that fighting, plus the partying, plus the drugs... And the
it's not really a healthy lifestyle, huh?
So, no, because that almost killed Gwigsy.
Well, yeah, poor Gwigs.
Gwigsy, the bass player for the band, was,
Paul McGuigan, yes.
Paul McGuigan is the most laid-back, chilled person you've ever heard of in your life.
Really, this dude just wants his bass, a packet of Rolos, his cigarettes, and his weed. And he's good. At the time. And he just had a severe bout of nervous exhaustion. And to the point where he left for a few months. I mean, okay, but think about it, though. You're stuck in a moving caravan with these loud butt heads.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm having to watch body language on this one.
Oh, no. I can still bleep.
Okay, right. He's got the power. But no, seriously, so you're rolling around with these, right?
Yep.
And it's just all day, every day. And if that's, if you're sort of a sensitive person to begin with, and then all you hear is just bitch, 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 bitch. I mean, and then, it's like being stuck in, it's like perpetually being the kid in a marriage that's about to erupt any moment. Did you hear what this person said? Did you hear what that person said? And you just hear mom and dad gripe and bitch and moan and complain for years.
Yeah.
You freaking go nuts. You got to get out. Do your thing.
And that probably explains why he left not long after Bourne had left,
Well, yeah.
You couldn't imagine, it's like there was two layers to that band. There was Liam and Noel and Bourne and Wigsy, and you couldn't imagine one parent without the other.
Right, and Whitey was always with Liam.
Yeah, it wasn't he his drinks tester or something like that? Yeah.
Yes.
So, we're going to go track by track here in a minute, but just so people know, basically, this album was Liam Gallagher, Noel Gallagher, Paul Arthurs, Paul McGuigan, and Alan White.
Right.
Interesting if Wigsy didn't play on Wonderwall. His bass lines were overdubbed, and I can kind of understand why. Because as much as I love Wigsy the person, he wasn't the greatest of bass players. And, I mean, in the times he was replaced... I'm not just talking about when Andy Bell took a spot. Just like the performance on Letterman where they did Morning Glory.
Right.
Bonehead's bass playing is far superior.
Well, I mean...
But Bonehead is a multi-talented musician.
Right.
So,
I can't really comment on that one because I'm not a bass connoisseur, and I don't say that to be,
No, I understand that.
I mean, if you don't know, if you're not a musician who pays attention to the rhythm section, you're not, unless somebody just really screws up.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not gonna catch it. So... Yeah.
Well, I've been hanging around with a lot of bass players.
Yes, you have.
So,
hello, Greg.
Right. Also, interestingly, has Paul Weller on the album. He plays on 2 tracks.
Yes.
And obviously, Tony McCarroll plays on 2 tracks because we're going to be talking about more than just the 12 tracks on the album, which we'll come to here in a minute. So, let's go through everything.
Let's hit it.
Hello.
Hi.
Now, we're going to preface every track on the album with who sang it, because all the songs were written by Noel Gallagher.
Right. But
Liam's the lead singer. Liam is the singer in the band. He doesn't play an instrument. So, Liam sings Hello.
He played tambourine.
He's one of the best tambourine players ever.
Damn Skippy.
Now he plays maracas.
Yes.
So, I think that actually looks cooler.
He still does some tambourine, though. There's always some person in the crowd wanting a tambourine.
Still better than scissors, though.
Hey, I think that if you can become a professional scissors player to the point where people hire you to go on tour with them to play freaking scissors, you know what? You do that.
I think he's making her play tambourine now.
Well, you know what? You just take that ish and you run with it.
God bless you, Charlotte.
Yes. Anyway, sorry. Hello.
So, Hello starts off the album.
Yes.
Aside from its name, it is a really, really good opening track. And the reason I say aside from its name is because you couldn't put Hello bury track number 6 in the album.
It's got to be the first one.
It's got to be the first track. And it does kick off, and you instantly can tell that the band are a little bit more polished.
Yeah, they've grown a bit.
Because with all due respect to Tony McCarroll. Tony McCarroll was a very, very good punk drummer, but he wasn't nuanced, whereas Alan White was a jazz and R&B drummer.
Right.
Who knew how to play rock music. So that opening drum beat, Tony McCarroll could not have pulled that off. Just the first roll.
Well, that and the fact that, I mean, at this point they've traveled the world. They're not still sitting in that same little rehearsal space on the boardwalk in Manchester anymore.
True.
I mean, they've gone out and they've done, stuff. And so they of course they're getting more polished.
Yeah. And I mean,
but when you get to that thing, see, McCarroll's drumming was okay for the boardwalk in Manchester. And it was okay for those, little clubs around town. I mean, he is the Pete Best of Oasis. And Pete Best was okay for the Cavern.
Yeah, that's true.
For a time.
That is true to a point. I personally, I don't think Alan White could have pulled off Definitely Maybe. And what I mean by that is
he's too polished.
Exactly.
It needed to be raw.
He's too intricate, whereas Definitely Maybe was too raw. I think, and I mentioned this before, I think Alan White was one of the reasons why Oasis's music got stale, because of his drumming technique. It's no coincidence that, album 3 dropped off, album 4 dropped off, album 5 dropped off, and when they replaced him with Zach Starkey,
right,
who was, I guess, a good hybrid between Alan White and Tony McCarroll, he could do the roles, and he could do the basic stomping, and that's when their music picked up again. Because those 3 middle albums Oasis did are not dreadful, but compared to the first 2 and the last 2, they're kind of... even though I know you've got a huge soft spot for Standing on the Shoulder of Giants.
Yes, I do.
So, but
again, drums are like drums are the rhythm set. Yeah. So I mean, unless you're the person who watches out for that, I mean, I'm not going to notice it unless they just really screw up. So,
right. Well, this track kind of has a sample of a guitar riff that nobody has a clue what it is yet because it hadn't been released and hadn't really been played live. Excuse me, but this uses what I call echo vocals.
Right.
You hear it on Roll With It too. Mm-hmm. And one of the few tracks on the album that has more than one verse. Now, we when I first wrote that down, I was like, really? But yeah, Hello actually has 2 verses. Not all of the songs on the album have 2 verses. In fact, Don't Look Back in Anger, Hello, Hey Now, Some Might Say, She's Electric, and Champagne Supernova. Everything else only has 1 verse.
Really? Cast No Shadow?
Cast No Shadow was 1 verse. Here's stuff for every man who tries to understand.
Okay. I'll be darned.
And in 2 of those songs, in Hey Now and Champagne Supernova, they have 2 verses, but repeat one of the verses twice.
I'll be damned.
See, that's called research, kids. Wikipedia is my friend. The song ends with loud kind of wah-wah guitars based off of Gary Glitter's Hello, Hello, I'm Back Again, which is one of the legal problems that they had. And I think I like the way that they distorted the It's Good to Be Back parts, because, you know, for those of you who don't know, who didn't listen to our Celebrity Justice episode, Gary Glitter is a big old pervert.
Yeah, but this wasn't known then.
No. But what I mean is it's hard to listen to.
Right.
You know, I mean, I have a hard time listening to that. I can't listen to Lost Prophets. I can't watch a Chris Benoit wrestling match. You know.
Yeah, we're a little weird here.
Yeah. So it's you know what people have done. I can't, like, even now with the whole Me Too stuff, I have a hard time watching a Kevin Spacey movie.
Right.
One of my favorite films is The Negotiator. I really want to watch it, but there's a part of me going, that's Kevin Spacey. You know.
Right.
So we move on.
Yes.
Once again, Liam is singing, and it's Oasis' entry in the Battle of Britpop. In my opinion, the weakest song on the album. Roll With It. What are your thoughts on this barn-busting anthem that is just 1 verse, 1 chorus with echoed vocals?
I mean, it's okay. It's not my favorite on the album. But, I mean, it doesn't, like, just suck. So
No, it doesn't suck, but, again, as we'll talk about later on, some of the songs that were released during that era, and this made it on the album, you know, it's...
Well, yeah, but you have to... Okay, stop for a second. Right now, you're looking at this through the lens of a 30-some-odd aged person who has had this on your, you know, in your music repertoire forever, okay? Now stop. Put yourself back, all right? Oasis first got on my radar, with the Wonderwall video. And so, let's see here. What was the official release date again? October.
The album was on October 9. It was on October 95, and Wonderwall came out, I think...
96. Right.
No, Wonderwall actually came out either the week before or the week after the album.
Okay, well, let's just say for poops and giggles here in the States, it didn't fall on my radar.
Okay. That's fair
until
enough.
96, okay? Alright, so, you're looking at this 96, I was 15?
Yes.
Okay.
So 12.
Shh. So, yes. Alright. Yes, I'm Mrs. Robinson, whatever. So, but seriously though, okay, so as a 15-year-old, right? You gotta say what you say, don't let any get in your way. I mean, that was like anthemic.
Yeah, and it's look, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad song.
Well, no, but I mean, but parts of it are gonna sound repetitious and juvenile to you now.
Well, even then, though, I mean, there's a guy I went to school with who was a big music fan, a guy called Matt. And, he would play Oasis music, he'd play Travis, he'd play Cast, and all the bands that were really, really big, the Charlatans, so on and so forth. And he'd play Roll With It, even then, and there was just something about it that I didn't quite get.
Well, I mean, you gotta, it's one of those where... I mean, is it the greatest song in the world? No. Is it the greatest song on the album? No. But
it was what it was.
Well, it was what it was, but it's, you're either... It either inspires you or it doesn't.
Yeah, it's Marmite.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the Marmite / Nutella of the world. It's either... you're either like, woohoo, or you're like...
It's the Jaffa Cakes of the world.
Leave my Jaffa Cakes out of this.
See? But no, I mean, it was Oasis is one of Oasis' top. It was one of their biggest songs.
Yes.
A lot of fans like it. It's again, it's personal opinion. I mean, we all have personal opinions on certain songs and certain feelings. But it's just for me, even getting the Master Plan in '98, which was released just 3 years after it, and I was 14 at the time, and you listen to Rockin' Chair. You listen to Acquiesce. You listen to the stuff that he wrote, but he left off the album for the previous album, like Listen Up, The Head Shrinker.
Right. But I mean, Roll With It is Morning Glory's Rock and Roll Star. It is the Liam Swagger song of the album. It is the one where he can come out and he can strut
and stare at the audience
and do the hand behind the back sort of squat thing and shake his tambourine and sneer and spit at people. This is Liam's spotlight for the album.
The song is the embodiment of his persona. All right,
yes.
I can go with that. I can get down with that.
So taking that as what that is, I mean that's yeah. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. So we move on to the song on the album. If you are a fan of memes, you probably know this song.
If you've ever watched a British sporting event.
If you ever watched a British sporting event, you've heard this song. If you've ever turned on the radio in the 90's, you've heard this song. Wonderwall.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay.
Said maybe.
Right? Yeah, because maybe.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where the name came from. Yeah. This song does have some interesting background to it. Okay. It was originally supposed to be sung by Noel Gallagher.
Yes.
Until he wrote Don't Look Back in Anger and presented the pair of them to Liam and said, pick one. Because I'm singing the other. As far as a pure raw song goes, it is definitely... It's either Liam's best or second best musical performance on the album. Mm-hmm. It's either this or Cast No Shadow. Mm-hmm. He, as much as he hates singing with the band acoustically, he does really, really good singing acoustic songs.
Right.
And it was the first Oasis song to be fully acoustic. No other song had been that way up until that part. It is Oasis' most recognizable song. It is. It is the song that everybody knows, everybody thinks of when they think of the Gallagher brothers.
Right.
But did you know that it never hit number one in any part of the world?
Jesus, really?
Yeah. Wasn't a number one single. And even peep this, it wasn't even their biggest selling single.
Really?
Now, I know over in the States, you judge on radio play, which is one thing. But Wonderwall did not hit number one, like I mentioned, and did not sell more than 500,000 copies. Now, judging from inflation and blah 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 and times changing, 500,000 copies sounds like a lot, but back then, I mean, you got to understand, it was 350,000 copies for Roll With It.
Right.
And Don't Look Back in Anger, which was released a couple of months later.
Well, yeah, this is before. I mean, now 500,000 copies. I mean, that's just you've made it. That's it. Yeah. But back then, kids, remember, this is pre-YouTube, pre-Napster.
Yeah, this is pre-internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jesus. freaking old.
I know, but I mean, it's right. But no,
MP3s did not exist.
No, I don't think MP1s existed at that point. But yeah, it was
It was MIDI, bitch.
right. It was severely overplayed, though. I mean, to the point of parody.
Well, I mean, okay, so if you look at Wonderwall, okay, back up. If Roll With It, okay,
Right.
was Morning Glory's Rock and Roll Star, Wonderwall would be Morning Glory's Slide Away.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
Simply because, and not because it sounds alike, but simply because of where it came from. Where the spirit in which it was written.
Right.
Which is ironic because Slide Away was actually written for a girlfriend of Mr. Gallagher.
Yep.
Whereas Wonderwall was not.
Wonderwall was written about his imaginary friend.
Miss Meg didn't know that until after.
Yeah, because if you write something that sounds like a love song, you're going to say it's a love song when you're asked about it with your girlfriend next to you.
Yes.
Yeah, which we will touch on next week's blog.
Yes.
So, but I mean, it's the most recognizable tune, and we're going to get into the social media question that we asked about this episode, and the responses are conclusive, and pretty much all say the same thing: is that Wonderwall was overplayed, and it is overplayed. I mean, even now. I mean, Noel Gallagher plays it at his shows out of duty, I guess. Liam doesn't play it at all. The last 3 Oasis tours didn't perform it, and it wasn't like the whole Radiohead "I hate this song, we're never going to perform it again" deuces people. It was more along the lines of Wonderwall again.
Right.
They basically took Wonderwall away to put the shine on the rest of the songs.
Right. But Wonderwall is the one song where he doesn't have to sing it.
Well, there's another one. There is another one, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But
yeah.
The thing I like about Wonderwall, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike the song. I think it is very, very well arranged, well produced. The lyrics are good, and the singing is fantastic.
Right.
But to quote Rodney Carrington, after 10,000 red M&Ms, you just want a green one every now and then.
Yes.
But, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a bad song. I just think it's...
Well, no, but look at all the ones that it's... Boulevard of Broken Dreams is from Green Day is a direct riff off of Wonderwall.
Riding to Reach You by Travis, too.
Yes.
I guess my own personal thought on Wonderwall is this.
I mean, hell, even, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
I think, well, even some of the choruses Noel writes now has got that same chord sequence. Yeah. It's just, in my opinion, for as wildly popular as this song is,
right,
you ask an Oasis fan.
Right.
I'm not talking about a casual fan or a diehard fan, just a guy who identifies themselves as an Oasis fan.
Right.
And 8 out of 10 of them will not put Wonderwall in their top 5. And 4 out of 10 won't put it in the top 10 of Oasis songs.
Well, I mean... I do because it has a soft spot.
Yeah.
Because that was the song, I'm leaning down. Excuse me. So that was the song, I'm leaning down doing my homework, and then I hear it in the background, and it's like, wow. This is different. Of course, I was a big Beatles head, too, so I hear the thing, and I look up, and they've got the Beatle haircuts, and then, then I'm like, oh.
The video's kind of kooky, too.
Yes, and it was very Hard Day's Night-ish.
Yeah.
And so and then they were British.
Well,
and I was 15 and I was smitten. So there you go.
So
I was sold.
There you go. That's the thing. Oasis is responsible for my import. So we go to the Yang to Wonderwall's Ying, I guess we could say. Don't Look Back in Anger.
Yes.
Now, another song, I will openly admit, that has been overhyped and overplayed. I just, for some reason, for me, I can't get tired of listening to this song. This is my favorite song of all time. Written and sung by Noel Gallagher, and heavily influenced by Imagine and All the Young Dudes. This was kind of his Noel's homage to both of those songs.
Right.
You know, Revolution Off My Bed, the chorus line, and so on and so forth. It was their second number one single, and to that date was the highest selling. See, Wonderwall sold something like 500,000, as I mentioned.
Right.
Don't Look Back in Anger sold 750 to 1.2 million.
This is another one that, I mean, this holds a special place in my heart for other reasons.
Yeah.
My brother, I have a brother who is 12 years younger than me, and my brother is autistic. And I actually, we actually used to, he learned to talk and to communicate based on this song. Like, we would, of course he could say simple words here and that or whatever, but his first love of music or whatnot is from this song, because we would sit together and then, you know, we'd do the "So Sally Could Wait," and then, you know, he would do a line and I would do a line, and, you know, but at the time he was, goodness, 96. I mean, yeah. Anyway, of course he was autistic, so he was older. But, so this song, I'm getting a little weepy. This song has a very, very, very special place in my heart. Because it's just awesome.
It is just awesome. And, you know,
whole power of music and whatever.
I think everybody has their own interpretations about every song. And everybody, with Oasis songs, they're not that deep. They're deep enough to where there can be an interpretation, but the interpretation is always up to the listener.
Right.
And, you know, again, like you, this song holds a special place in my heart. But for the life of anybody, I can't say why. I don't know why. I don't know why I love this song so much. The lyrics are not, you know, the lyrics are alright.
Right.
The tune is good. The guitar solo is alright.
Right.
I guess it's just the release of the anthematic chorus.
Yeah.
I mean, Don't Look Back in Anger, and, you know, I'm plugging the blog, but it's a modern day hymn, for lack of a better term. And not in a religious kind of way, but in the style, for anybody who has a conniption fit.
Right.
You know, it was after the Ariana Grande bombing
in Manchester
last year. They were doing a memorial service, and they asked for like a moment of silence, and the crowd just spontaneously started singing "Don't Look Back in Anger," because the people, the kids who were there, the parents, you know, were from Britpop's generation. They were the 20-year-olds during the Britpop era, and this song embodied how they felt at the time.
Oh yeah.
And then you had the Grenfell Tower, and again the song came up. And then after a football match, before a football match, the song got performed by the French Royal Guard, and that kind of thing is only reserved for national anthems.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that whole release.
Yes.
You know, and Oasis fans finally got their wish 20 years later at Glastonbury when Liam Gallagher sang it.
Yes. And also another fun tidbit. Here's a piece of trivia that I noticed is not on your handy dandy trivia sheet right here. If anyone wants to watch the video, go on YouTube and look up the official video. And right? Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if Wonderwall was supposed to be A Hard Day's Night, Don't Look Back in Anger was supposed to be Help.
Yeah. Definitely.
But if you watch the video and pay attention, it's the last video before Noel got his teeth fixed, and he actually has a pop-in implant to cover his gap. On the video, he actually there's a little thing that he popped in. But this is the last one before he got his teeth fixed.
Interesting.
So yes.
It's also where Whitey met his wife,
which is very Harrison Boyd from Hard
Day's Night. This song, however, in my opinion, for what it's worth, While Noel wrote Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger, and they will always be kind of symbiotic with each other, because you can't have one without the other, and they will always be compared to each other. While Noel wrote both songs for Oasis, Wonderwall is an Oasis song, Don't Look Back in Anger is an Noel Gallagher song. Is that fair to say?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's you know... if you've never listened to the song, why are you listening to this podcast? If you've never heard the song, my advice is go to YouTube and type in Don't Look Back in Anger Japan, and you'll see Noel Gallagher.
Oh, yeah.
The drummer, I think it was Terry Kirkbride, and Game Archer in a studio with what looks like lightsaber lamps and lots of like chandeliers and stuff. It's
right.
It's crazy looking, but it's a dang good version.
Yes.
Dang good version. So, we move to Hey Now. Never been played live. Out of all the Oasis songs, never played live, which is unusual. You know, because you spend all that time making a record, and you don't play any of the songs live. It just, to me, it doesn't... Now, there could be some circumstances why you can't play it live, but there was no reason why this song should never have been played live.
I mean, this one, it's okay. I mean...
It's the palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I mean, you have these two big anthematic songs.
It's a sniff of coffee before you go on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, look, lyrically, one of Noel's best written lyrics, but the music on there is just so dreary.
Well, you also... That's... Okay, yes, but you have to remember, he was still very entrenched in his Dr. Seuss period during this era.
True. This one is is not the least Dr. Seuss on the album, but it's definitely... It seems like he took his time with the lyrics. No. He actually, he was... No, but, I mean, but it is very good lyrically, which is why it stands out more above the rest, because he was still very much in his Dr. Seuss lyric phase, and so... You know, that makes it stand out, even more, basically. It was the first Oasis song that wasn't entirely positive. And
Correct.
What I mean by that is not,
I mean, it wasn't mopey.
No, but I mean, Wonderwall, you're going to be the one who saves me. Don't Look Back in Anger.
Right.
You got to roll with it. And then Feel No Shame. It's more like a statement than a message.
Right.
And I like it. I personally like it. I think it's a good song.
It is a good song.
And, it's just, again, it's weird that they never played it live. Considering the fact that they played the Swamp Song live.
Ugh.
Many times. Okay, this song, for those of you who own the record, this is the instrumental. It was originally released as a B-side to Wonderwall. The full-length version of the song. The full-length version of the song is pretty good. It's just these little snippets in between. That's Noel trying to be Paul Weller. In the Paul Weller Wildwood album, which is a really, really good album, there's he has actually 3 instrumentals on that album. Instrumental number 1, part 1, part 2, and instrumental number 2. And it just... He broke it up, and it just... I don't know, it just seemed out of place.
Okay, so instrumentals aren't completely... I'm not opposed to instrumentals.
No.
Fucking in the Bushes was good.
Yep.
Toyota Walkin' was good.
Quick Peep is brilliant, in my opinion.
Right. Do you know how long it took me to be able to pronounce Toyota Walkin'?
I still can't. Theo Walcotton.
So, yes, pick up the X-Files soundtrack for Toyota Walkin' by Noel.
Or if you're an Ian Brown fan, it's the basis of the song...
Give What You Got?
Keep What You Got.
Keep What You Got, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so it's not that I'm diametrically opposed to instrumentals. I mean, they're not my favorite, but, I can jam. And it's not that I, don't like Noel instrumentals. But Swamp Song, well, first off, it sort of makes me bristle being from Louisiana. If somebody wants to pop up with something named Swamp. So it already makes me go, really? Okay. But, no. but I think it's because of the way that it sort of, Like, you can't even really get into it. Like, it fades in, they jam for a minute, it goes away.
Yeah.
And then it comes back up. So it's sort of like, it's like a bathroom break.
That's a good way of putting it. The reason it's called a swamp song is because Noel just gave it a random name, simply because...
Shocked.
No, he was going to call it the Jam.
Well, yeah.
And then when Paul Weller showed up on the album, he thought it was cheesy, and when Noel Gallagher told Weller the story, Weller went, "You did?
Right.
That would have been awesome."
Right.
So, but Paul Weller does actually play the harmonica on this track, and guitar. I don't know how I figured this out, but I can tell the difference between Noel and Paul Weller's guitar sounds, and I know who's playing what. Interestingly enough, all the instruments were played in the studio, except for the drums. See, the reason Oasis were using the Swamp Song to start their gigs, to kick off with an instrumental, was because of Mark Call's hearing. They couldn't get the sound checks right all the time, so they used the Swamp Song to kind of tighten it up.
To make sure everybody's pulling on point on the board.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So Alan White's drumming from the Glastonbury show was so perfect that they just overlaid it, which I thought was a good idea. Of course, by the end of the tour, they got a different sound engineer after Carly walked away, and then they just started walking out to it.
Right.
Which, now they did to in the bushes, but, that's a different story for a different day.
What kind of bush? Like those prickly things that would hurt?
Well, no, it's... right?
Sorry.
A prickly pear.
Okay, next. Sorry.
Just for the record, if you don't know, it's from a sample of a 1970s movie where an old lady yells, "The kids have been running around, they've been in the bushes."
Yes.
So, some might say what? Oasis' first #1 single and the last recording of Tony McCarroll.
Yes.
The only song that they demoed, and because of the drumming style, it kind of stands out even more than Hey Now on the album. I like Some Might Say.
I love Some Might Say.
And the reason... Remember we had the discussion about Logan, right? The movie Logan. How I loved the movie from the good guys, but there was no bad guys that they played off, with the dam that they play off of. That was my one complaint. Some Might Say kind of reminds me of that.
Really?
Logan reminds me of Some Might Say. And what I mean by that is, this song is Noel Gallagher's songwriting in a complete 100% nutshell. Slightly borrowed riff, epic chorus, some great lyrics, and then some of the most nonsensical lyrics you've ever heard in your life.
Oh no, this one doesn't have his most nonsensical lyric.
Which is?
The sink is full of fishes, she's got dirty dishes on the brain.
Yeah, it's the most... and my dog's been itching in the kitchen once again. But it's also got his best lyric, in my opinion.
Yes.
Some might say you don't believe in heaven. Well, go tell that to the man who lives in hell. I mean, to me, that's like, ooh. Now, to some people, it's cheesy, but I mean, it's still a dang good lyric. It was their first #1 single and the only song that they demoed.
Yes.
And Noel kind of regrets that they didn't make it sound more like the demo. Because even the guys in the band preferred the demo version to it. So what they should have done is they just should have had Liam's voice singing over it.
Right.
But instead they re-recorded it and... we have what we have. Good song.
Yes.
Again, another one of the Oasis classics. But they kind of stopped playing it, which, unlike, say, Wonderwall, which they were tired of playing because that's all they were getting noticed for.
Right.
Some might say deserved a little bit more lifespan on the tours, in my opinion.
I agree.
For what it's worth. Well, that's one of Liam's songs. Okay. My second favorite song on the album. Cast No Shadow.
Lyrically.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? I'll go even further. Musically, it's fantastic too.
Yes.
The
Verve would not exist without this song.
Well, the Verve did exist before this.
Okay, Urban Hymns would not exist
Correct.
without this song.
I mean, it was written about Richard Ashcroft.
Right, but Urban Hymns and Bittersweet Symphony and all that good stuff
Was inspired by this, you think?
I mean...
Yeah, I can actually see it. I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Oh, okay. Urban Hymns would not exist in the masterpiece that it was.
If it wasn't for that.
If it wasn't for this song.
Okay. Yeah, I can deal with that. The cynic in me. Bear with me.
That's a big cynic, guys. It just lets you know.
I don't think Oasis were planning on releasing Don't Look Back in Anger as a single.
Ooh, them's fighting words.
Or Wonderwall as a single. and the reason I say that is... and I joke about this with Greg all the time, especially considering the industry that we work in.
Yes.
My 8 to 5, I work in marketing, right? Audio marketing. And last year, we were looking up new music for the Christmas and holiday time. And we were finding these songs that sounded like normal songs, but they were put in the Christmas category.
Right.
And the only difference between the normal version and the Christmas or holiday version...
They put bells over
They put
it?
sleigh bells on it.
Yes.
If you listen to Cast No Shadow, it's got sleigh bells on it. Wonderwall was released around about that October-November time.
So you thinking Cast No Shadow was supposed to be a Christmas song?
Or at least released around about that time.
Really? So it was a Christmas chart designated
Yeah.
a battle of the... Yeah.
But Wonderwall did so well, and the Mike Flowers Pops version of Wonderwall did so well, that they actually put back Don't Look Back in Anger. Don't Look Back in Anger was supposed to be released either the end of December or mid-January, and it didn't come out until mid-February, because Wonderwall was still like in the top 10, one about the release date. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. Liam's best vocal on the album, in my opinion.
I don't think it's sleigh bells. I think that he just had a different tambourine.
I mean, I'll play it to you after we're done recording, because I think it's sleigh bells, personally. And I could be wrong. I usually am. But, again, though, like a lot of the stuff that came before, it's just one verse, one chorus. And while Noel might have been going through his Dr. Seuss phase, he was coming out with these very, very short songs and just playing them twice. And you listen to Roll With It, you listen to Wonderwall, Cast No Shadow, Morning Glory. It's just one verse, one chorus. But do you agree with the statement that this is an underrated classic?
Yes.
If you were not an Oasis fan, or have not listened to this album, I recommend that if you listen to any Oasis song, you go Slide Away, Don't Look Back in Anger, and Cast No Shadow.
Yes.
Those will give you a taste of what they're about. You know, for what it's worth.
Rockin' Chair.
Rockin' Chair. Rockin' Chair too. I think we're talking about
Angel Child. Talk Tonight.
Talk Tonight.
Tenor in the Back.
Tenor for the Lady in the Black, right? So we go from one of Noel's most somber, emotionally draining songs to She's Electric.
Which, if you didn't think that the video and the haircut from Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger were Beatlesque, and if this whole thing wasn't already a nod to the Liverpudlian gods of the 60s, this song right here was more Beatlemania than Beatlemania.
Right? I mean, it's...
The intro. I mean...
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a dreadful song. Let's be completely and utterly honest, right?
But it's
a happy-go-lucky song, but it's also very, very dreadful.
It's meant to be dreadful.
It's the Digsy's Dinner of Morning Glory.
Yes.
Oasis track 9 has a habit of doing that. Anyway,
but there's a reoccurring theme. You know, there's a song like this. There's a song like this.
Yeah.
It's a formula.
It's not a bad song. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's like...
Oh, it's fabulous. I adore it.
Imagine Gordon Ramsay serving you a Big Mac. I mean, it's throwaway. The great thing about it, though, right?
Oh, no, it's not. No. This is not a throwaway song. I will. Them fighting words. Nope. I will rain down upon you.
You have the floor.
No, it deserves its spot. It has earned its spot. It's fabulous. It's tongue in cheek.
Yeah, it is very, very... It's
very tongue in cheek. It's got some of the most memorable one-liners off the entire album.
And that's the thing too. This was like She's Electric and Cast No Shadow with the two tracks on the album that had a heavy use of metaphor.
Yes.
I mean, she's got one in the oven, but it's nothing to do with me. Mm-mm. Yeah. If you don't know what that means, you need to grow up a little bit.
Yes.
But no, and I mean, it blatantly stole from you and me. I've got you and you've got me. Yeah.
I'll be you and you'll be me. Yeah.
It's a good look. It's a good song. It's a happy-go-lucky song. It's one of those ones you put your arm around your friend at the pub and you dance around like an idiot. And
yes.
But again, the whole meal so far has been filet mignon, and now they're bringing you like an icy.
They're not bringing you an icy. They're bringing you a weird dessert that you're not sure you're gonna like.
Yes. Okay, that's actually a great metaphor.
But because it looks like it's too syrupy and too sweet, but then you bite it and you're like, we can work with this.
Yeah, we can work with it. It's one of those things that you don't know if you like it or dislike it, but you'll order it again.
Yes.
That's fair to say. But
there's not a chick from that era that was not an Oasis head that didn't
bop around to it.
Didn't bop around to it and didn't want to be electric a little bit. You know what I mean? It gives mystique.
It's a mystique song, but it's. I guess it pointed to the childish nature of your average lad in the UK at the time, But I don't dislike it, but it's a little out of place in my opinion. So for what it's worth.
Well, I'm glad they didn't ask you.
If they'd asked me, the album would be much better, and we'll get to that at the end here in a minute. We go to the half title track. And I say half title track because it's called Morning Glory. Mm-hmm. Let me stop the press for just a minute and just go on a slight rant about Noel Gallagher like that. Mm-hmm. For the last couple of albums of Oasis, Stand on the Shoulder of Giants, Heathen Chemistry, Don't Believe the Truth, and Dig Out Your Soul. Those weren't lyrics in any, they weren't titles of any song, and Dig Out Your Soul was a lyric in a Game Archer song, right? Mm-hmm. But when he does name his albums after songs that they release, he gives the album and the title track different names, even though they reference each other. The song is called Morning Glory. The album is called What's the Story? Morning Glory. Even now, Noel Gallagher's most recent solo album is called Who Built the Moon. There's a track on that called The Man Who Built the Moon. And that just bugs me a little bit, So, anyway, rant over. Morning Glory, standalone single here in the United States and in Australia. Mm-hmm. If you can't tell, it is completely and utterly written about drugs. And cocaine, in particular.
The whole question of what's a story, Morning Glory, you know what that's in reference to, right?
It's a plant, isn't it?
Well, no. Morning Glory is a plant. Or
it's a rather large hard one, first thing in the morning.
Yeah, well, there's that too, but no.
That's a direct quote from Liam and Bonehead, by the way.
Right. No, it's actually a slang term when you ask someone when they have a cocaine hangover.
Ah, I did not know that.
So there you go. And it's also a line from a musical. and it's chafing my bits that I can't tell you the name of the musical because that's my wheelhouse. And guys, I'm drawing a blank.
If you know,
yes,
send us a message on Twitter using the hashtag BMPod.
And you will get a shout out.
You'll get a shout out next week's episode. Maybe
Birdie.
If not next week, the week after.
Somebody hit me up. Yeah, what's the story, Morning Glory? It's not Baba Birdie. I don't think it might be. My brain is but no, it's from a musical, but it also it's checking on your buddy with their cocaine hangover, which is probably the the use that it came from.
Well, and that would be very, very typical of the guys in the band. I mean,
at that point, yes.
At that point in time, when Oasis and the Verve met for the very, very first time, Columbia declared a national holiday.
Yes.
It's
yes.
So no, it's a good song.
Yes.
It's very, very loud and it's very, very bombastic, I guess you could say. Inspired by two of Noel's old songs, and actually R.E.M., believe it or not. Now, I don't know if Oasis were ever fans or not fans of R.E.M., but they definitely ripped the... They acknowledge that they ripped the bass line from The One I Love. And,
Yeah, but Noel... This period of time, Noel ripped off everybody.
Oh, he did.
on purpose.
And I don't think
No, but he did it as tribute.
Yeah, I don't necessarily...
It wasn't done maliciously.
No, and I'm not trying to sound like a raging fanboy or anything like that. But I mean, the Beatles sounded like Chuck Berry and all those old rock and roll from the 50s.
Well, yeah, because they wanted to be the Gotham King of England.
Yeah, so I mean, every generation, unless you were building a new genre of music, you take inspiration from what comes before, and it just so happened that Oasis built a genre of music while taking inspiration.
Yes.
Very, very weird dichotomy.
Yes.
Look, when it comes from borrowing material, I look at it like this. You borrow from one person, it's plagiarism. You borrow off several people, it's research. Now, Morning Glory was a great track, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Really weird video to it, too.
That's one of the videos we didn't get.
Well, you must have got it, because it was released over here.
We didn't get the video for Live Forever either.
Even though they made a specific one for...
Well, we didn't get the video you got for Live Forever. We didn't get the Let's Put Tony in the Casket video.
Which is a shame, really, because I like the American version of that better. I know that Rock and Roll Star had its own video. Morning Glory had its own video. And Champagne Supernova had its own video.
Okay, yes, but if you ask anyone over here, if you ask anyone stateside videos for that album, they're going to tell you Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, and Champagne Supernova.
See, I didn't even know that Champagne Supernova had a video until I realized it was released as a standalone out here, too. Let's talk about... Because, see, we like to research things here. We don't like to be half right.
You don't do this just willy-nilly.
No.
No.
It's not like, we just rolled up one night with, with no prep.
Yeah.
That's the Right Here, Right Now episodes.
Yes, yes.
Those are fun, by the way. When we get them up, you need to download them. Okay. Champagne Supernova.
Yes.
Actually, let me go back to Morning Glory real quick just to make...
Yes, let's wrap this one up with a little bow. Yes.
Because it was basically played at every Oasis gig ever, and Liam's band, BDI, played it full band the whole way too, and Noel actually played it acoustically on many, many occasions, including the infamous MTV Unplugged show. So, we go on to Champagne Supernova.
Well, yes, because we're not going to mention part 2 of the Swamp Song.
We've already mentioned it.
Yes.
Go listen 10
I know,
minutes
but
ago.
if someone's being pedantic, they're going to say, hey, you missed one.
Okay.
So,
well,
yes.
the Swamp Song... It
has been mentioned.
Has been mentioned. It kind of bridges the gap. Anyway.
It was the P-break.
It was the P-break. Especially considering the epicness that was coming on. And I don't mean it's an epic song, you got to listen to it. But, I mean, it's an epic song. It's, it's arranged... At the time, it was the most complicated arrangement that the band had ever tried.
It was their Beowulf.
Guitars, pianos, keyboards, mellotrons, strings. The only thing that was missing was brass.
Cowbell.
I'm pretty sure it had cowbell at some point. A harmonica. I mean, it had... Noel Boned, surprisingly, I found this out. Noel Boned and Paul Weller doing the lead guitar. Subtlety, Thy Name Is,
Right. I think they just opened up a closet full of instruments and said, let's put that on there.
Yeah, it's just... It is a truly... It's... Musically, it's a masterpiece.
Yes, it is.
Lyrically...
But this is that wall of sound.
Yeah, that's true.
This is where it comes from. I mean, this is... Out of all of them on there, this is the most. And it's beautiful. It is a beautiful song.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. It's... Noel Gallagher's been played it on his last tour, acoustically, with a slightly different arrangement. And it sounds more like the album version, if that makes sense.
Right.
Whereas when the band played it live, they decided to hell with the subtleties of this. Let's just turn it around on its head and make it unstoppable. Like, you listen to a Champagne Supernova from Oasis gig back then.
Oh, yeah.
At the, as soon as Liam does that last bit of singing, and Alan White does the military drums, and they just... like a cannonball, a cannonball slowly rolling down the hall. I mean, just turned it into this mammoth sound, and it's. I think they could not have ended the album with any other track.
Well, no, because the way that it's engineered. I mean, you have those, and of course, nothing is an accident, but you've got those the ocean waves, and it's set like waves. I mean, the whole, you know, the sound goes up and down and up and down, and then calm, and it calms out towards the end. You know, it's just like the little wave lapping at the beach with that in the background, and so it's brilliantly done. I mean, and it's gorgeous. It's
excellently produced too.
Yes,
the lyrics can be a little suspect, but
it's Susical the musical.
but there are some you know.
Yes.
Again, I don't know how Noel Gallagher does this. He could write 4 lines of absolute drivel and 1 line of like a pool,
right?
You know, and you know, you and I will never die. The world still spins around. We don't know why. What the heck does that mean? You know, and but it means something. It means something to somebody. I think
that ties back into where were you while we were getting high.
Right. I think, in my opinion, that's Oasis' best album closer.
Yes.
Roll It Over is a very, very close second. I love that song. Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike that song. I just think it's their worst album. But if it had been released by any other band in that era, it'd have been hailed as a masterpiece.
I will cut you.
Cut me. I don't care. You know where I sleep. I know where you sleep. So, we've got a couple more tracks that we're going to talk about. We're not going to go too much in detail in them, but there's the bonus track, Bonehead's Bank Holiday.
Yes.
Absolute nonsense.
Oh my god, but it is the best nonsense in the history of nonsense. Especially if you've got the if you can listen to the original, and there's parts of it. It is in the background, but if you can get a hold of an isolated track where that is just Bonehead, my god,
it's called Bonehead's Bank Holiday.
Yes.
And he was actually supposed to take lead vocals.
It was his Ringo track.
Bonehead can't sing.
No.
He can't. And he admits this. You know,
yeah.
But they wanted him to sing it, and he went to the... La, la, la. Don't you know? Right. No. He went for...
What kind of car you are.
He went for a couple of glasses of liquid courage, and the liquid courage turned into liquid stupid, and he was in no condition to even attempt to sing badly. So Noel took over the vocals, but you can hear, you know, the la 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 la's, and this was on the vinyl version of Morning Glory. So if you were a vinyl head, you own Bonehead's Bank Holiday. So, yay. Now I mentioned we can talk about some other tracks, and there are 5 that I want to briefly go over. Acquiesce. The song that should have been on the album.
Yes.
I think you take Hello off and you put Acquiesce instead of it.
Yeah.
Okay. The fact that chorus.
Yeah.
The verse chorus dichotomy. The lyrics, you know, it's interpreted as the love that the Gallagher, the love and the bond the brothers had at the time.
Right.
But it's more about, Noel said it's more about friendship, but it is definitely about a love and a bond, but it's not specifically written about Liam.
Right.
And in fact, Liam has even said that he can't sing this song without Noel. He won't, this is one of the few Oasis songs he will not perform live because he can't do it without him. Which is I guess kind of sweet.
We need each other. Yeah.
Again, this is Noel regretted not putting this on album 3. I still think he should have put it on this album, but you know, the Master Plan.
Oh.
Not at that time, up until Riverman, this is the song that Noel thought was the best song he ever wrote.
It's a damn good song.
Oh yeah, definitely. Couple of interesting tidbits. Again, he wishes he held on to this for album 3. I think this should have replaced Hey Now.
But this, along with a couple of other songs, you know, I didn't and remember, and we've talked about this before. Even with me being an Oasis fan, this is early internet, right? We had tape trees where we would mail each other things. This is back when, you know, the only way to hear something live was to buy a bootleg.
Yeah. No YouTube, kids.
Right, no YouTube. So, and remember where I'm located. It's, you know, same place I was located then. So a lot of these alternates and B-sides I didn't hear until years later.
Yeah.
Or my first exposure to them was during Unplugged.
Yeah.
So the first time I heard Master Plan was unplugged.
Interesting.
Yes. First time I heard Talk Tonight was unplugged.
Listen up.
Yeah.
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 I think it's a great. I love the Master Plan. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Brass, string, electric guitar, acoustic guitar.
Well, yeah, and the first time I saw it again, it was unplugged, and so it was like goosebumps and crying. I mean, literally, it was moving.
It's a damn good song. I agree that while Don't Look Back in Anger is my favorite song, this is probably the best song he wrote.
All right.
Interestingly enough, for all you music nerds out there, the backwards guitar, he recorded it forwards. What he did is he flipped the tape, recorded the guitar solo, then flipped the tape back, and at first he thought it was going to sound awful, but actually it made a lot of sense, so he kept it in there like that, which is very, very interesting and weird. Round Our Way.
Yes.
Now, it's A-R-E, Round Our Way. Not Round Our Way, it's Round Our Way. Mancunian dialect. You coming round our way? See? Okay. That's a very, very bad Mancunian accent, but
yeah, don't do that again.
Right?
Never, ever, ever.
Never. It is a snapshot of working class Britain.
Yes.
It completely is. No matter if you were a young adult,
yes,
or teenage or older teen in the mid 90s in Britain, that is basically that describes your life, whether you know it or not. Bombastic brass and harmonica. More swagger than you could possibly think.
La, 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 la,
Yeah,
la.
I mean, just this should have been on the album too.
I'm down with that.
I as good as Roll With It is, this would have been a much, much better song to put on the album.
I think the first time I heard that one though was on Was There Then.
Yeah, that was the first time I heard it too, because I didn't buy the Wonderwall single, and
yeah, and I had to we had a CD. I had my own Mr. Sister. Who would order me imports. But sweet baby Jesus. I mean, like, I think I paid $17 for the Wonderwall single. I mean,
$3 in the UK, £3 in the UK.
Yeah, but I mean, by the time you paid taxes and import fees and somebody had to go hunt it down, and I mean, yeah, it was pretty bad. So
this is Oasis's best B-side that did not feature on any compilation. It was not on the Master Plan.
Really? I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on the Master Plan. And to me, I'm thinking, well, Going Nowhere is. That's a dreadful song. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it is. Okay.
Sometimes I don't think I know you.
Okay, Going Nowhere, Around Our Way, which is a better song.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. Noel, right? You was talking about sleeping on a couch.
Yes, I know. Me and the cat will have a good night. We're going to talk about one.
I'll kick your ass.
He will. He'll bite me again. We're going to talk quickly about one that's not on the notes, Rocking Chair.
Yes.
The most... I've used the word underrated a lot, but I mean...
Okay, personal anecdote. And I know some of you guys know us through one way or the other. And if we're friends on Facebook, you see me post about my Uncle Jerry a lot. So the single that's on, I had it on repeat. Or actually, no. This was a couple years later, and I actually had a computer, and I had ripped all my Oasis songs to my computer, right? So I could jam. And I had it playing while we were painting my room or something, and my uncle came over to help. And I had Rocket Chair on repeat. And that boy tells me I'm rude one more time. I don't care for your attitude.
That is something he would say.
So, that boy on that song tells me I'm rude one more time. So, yes, sorry. But
Rocking Chair is one of Liam's favorite songs.
Yes, Rocking Chair is amazing.
And I think it should have been on the album.
Yes, I'm down.
I would have replaced the Swamp Song.
Oh, yeah.
One of them. And finally, the last one from this era was Step Out.
Yeah. It's not one of my favorites.
It really isn't. It's all right.
It wasn't worth the trouble.
No. I mean...
It really... I mean, it's a good song, but it wasn't... In my opinion. Just in my humble little opinion. It wasn't worth the legal BS.
No.
I just wouldn't have released it.
It's... No. It's not... It's one of the weaker songs of the era.
Yes.
Probably down there with its better people. As alright, but not great, you know. Because, I mean, we talked about Hey Now not being played live. Step Up never got played live either.
Why? Because they didn't want to pay.
Well, ironically, it's on their live album.
Well, obviously they played it at least once.
Yeah, well, no, what I mean is, okay, during this era, they didn't play Step Up, but for some bizarre reason, Noel ditched Sunday Morning Call in the set list for this.
Yes.
Because he doesn't like Sunday Morning Call. Yet he released a video. I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand that man. I don't understand him at all. Now, in my humble opinion, I gave a rating of this a 7 out of 10 on the Britpop episode. Mm-hmm. I'm revising that to an 8 out of 10. And here's why. Mm-hmm. And I'll let you give your opinions on it here in a minute. Because I haven't written down your opinions because I don't know them. So it's a genre-defining record. Mm-hmm. I mean, it did set up what Britpop was supposed to be. Loud, bombastic, your own style, your own movement. Right. It did, worldwide, spark the Cool Britannia movement. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the start, but it was, I mentioned it wasn't the start, but it was the spark.
Right.
The first half of the album, you could replace everything but Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger, in my opinion. The second half is superb. It's not the best work overall.
Right.
I still think definitely maybe is. And in fact, to be honest, they've done better individual tracks. See, the first part of Oasis' career was defined by 2 really, really great albums and a 3rd good album. The rest of the other 4 releases were defined by some really, really good songs, but maybe not great albums. Don't Believe the Truth is a fantastic album. It'd be considered a masterpiece if it was written by someone else, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. But some of the individual songs on that album are better than some of the individual songs that are on this. So it's like, this album was greater than the sum of its parts.
Yes. I'll give you that. But it's all in timing, though. This album was wonderful and fabulous for when it was, for what and when it was.
Definitely.
And if it were released at any other time, it probably would not have done what it did.
Well, remember the reviews were mixed originally. I mean, definitely maybe came out with, oh my god, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and Morning Glory came out too. Oh. Which is ironic because Blur at the time released The Great Escape, which came out to this is the greatest thing ever, and then kind of reviewed it a couple of months later after the hype had died down and everybody was like, oh.
Maybe we shouldn't have, yeah.
And, this is definitely a grower, not a shower. I'll give it that. Think of a better metaphor and I'll say it.
Leave that in there.
I will. But in my opinion, if you replace replace Hello, roll with it, Hey Now, and She's Electric, with Aqueous, the Master Plan, Underneath the Sky, or Round Our Way, and Rockin' Chair, and the album instantly becomes 10 out of 10 and possibly one of the greatest of all time, in my humble opinion. So, what is your humble opinion?
Well, I think when we originally reviewed this,
very briefly,
you gave a 7 out of 10 and I gave it 8 out of 10.
Yes.
My rating holds.
Still 8, okay.
Yes, it's still 8. I mean, this album will always hold a special place for me.
Yeah.
It was my introduction to a band that literally changed my life. I mean, we're talking people you can't understand like, this album introduced me to some of my very best friends that I still have to this day.
Yep.
This album gave me a connection through music to my brother who previously I couldn't reach because he couldn't communicate and nothing would hold his attention. This album gave me this album gave me life, people. Like, I can't even, and through these friends and this band over the years, this album gave me this album and this band gave me my husband and my children.
Yeah.
So, this album will always hold an extremely special place in my heart. Do I think that it's their best work? No. I'll disagree with hubby over there as far as which one is. But that's okay. But this is a good one, guys. It's a good one for what it was then. So, yeah.
The thing is, Sgt. Pepper doesn't sound that great now listening to it, but back then it was groundbreaking and everything like that. So, right. I completely agree with that. It was definitely a product of its time.
Would that make Sotsog their revolver?
Probably.
Ha! Yes! Okay.
Or the White Album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look. Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is definitely their Revolution number 9. But that, like I said, yeah, I completely agree with that. This is a fantastic piece of music and musical history. So we will leave that right there, and that I think is our last discussion on this album until we probably review it in 3 years' time when we find out some obscure fact. Like the other day, we found out that it had a vibra slap on She's Electric. Yeah, that thing looks like a cowbell. You hear it goes.
Yes.
Yeah. We only just realized that it had it. Together.
Only because one of our kids have one.
Yeah.
And I smacked it. I was like, oh, that's the sound.
Yeah.
Yes.
We bought the vibra slap because we saw it when the kids would do it. Yeah. Anyway, that's another story for a different day. We'll probably cover that on a different episode of something else. We will be back momentarily. Alright, gang, thank you very much for taking the time. We did go a little bit longer than I expected with this, but, it was expected.
I'm so sorry.
Well, not even that. It's,
No, it's me.
It's Sarah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's her fault. Blame her.
Always.
Blame Canada.
Okay.
Well, you are Canada. You're nice and peaceful and so on and so forth. Aww. So I'm getting off that couch. So.
He cute, huh? He ain't that cute. No, I'm kidding.
So.
He's cute, huh? Okay.
I am cute. Mm-hmm. Somewhat.
All right. So wrapping this up, we are looking at the social media question feedback from I'd say from last week, but this is this is the first thing. No, he put a feeler out. Which is the better song, Wonderwall or Don't Look Back in Anger? And we have some responses.
And we're going to read a few of them out.
Yes.
And I can't believe the I can't believe the responses. And this is not oh my god, but when we go through them, I thought it would be a little bit closer than what it was. Mm-mm. So, we're going to start off. Chris, he said, Wonderwall is the more popular song, but I think Don't Look Back in Anger is the better song. Mm-hmm. Kevin said, personally, I'd say Don't Look Back in Anger is the much better track. And Andrew said, simply Don't Look Back in Anger.
Derek said, Don't Look Back in Anger is my fave of the two off that album. Matt said, Don't Look Back in Anger. Though Wonderwall is a great song. Champagne Supernova best on album. Personally would swap Hello for Acquiesce and Hey Now for Rockin' Chair. Oh, and Find a Place for Talk Tonight. Would make an already brilliant album perfection. Matt, you're not far off the mark there, bud.
There you go. Victoria said Don't Look Back in Anger. Obvious. Luke said hands down Don't Look Back in Anger. And Carl said great album, but I always skip Wonderwall. Overplayed and overrated.
Gareth said Don't Look Back in Anger is my karaoke song, so most would say Wonderwall after I've sung. Natalie, see, it's Champagne Supernova for me every time.
And Liam, not Liam Gallagher, brother Liam, said, stupid
Same
question.
birthday.
Without a doubt, Don't Look Back in Anger. More to the point, the best song on the album is Roll With It. So nobody said Wonderwall. I mean...
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so that shocked me. And, I wasn't trying to make a point to be controversial. I was saying, Wonderwall's overhyped and overplayed, and, it's... But, I mean, this is a very small sample size. But...
And actually, it's a small sample size, but, I mean, looking at this, these are people from not just the UK.
No, we have Canadians and Americans.
Another Southerner other than myself?
Yep. Canadian, Scots, Irish.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got all of the perk. And so it just goes to show that if a song is good but overplayed, people will get tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Macarena.
Yeah.
Oh, I only want to be with you.
Come from different worlds. Okay, so. Okay, guys, so remember, keep in touch with us via social media. Facebook, but at the Because Maybe Pod. Twitter and Tumblr at Because Maybe Pod. Our blog is becausemaybe.podcast.wordpress.com. And at YouTube, just type in the search bar Because Maybe Podcast.
And you will find our samples, and you'll find everything else that you could possibly do for that. Sarah, thank you very much for taking part this week. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, because next week we're going to be joined by Greg Gregory.
Yes.
And this week we decided to look at one of the most iconic albums in UK history. I decided to let me start that again. I decided to jump across the pond, and we're going to be talking about another album that was a social defining album, and we're going to be talking about Nevermind by Nirvana.
Ah.
Yeah, we've given Courtney Love a lot of love on this podcast. Now we're going to see if Mr. Courtney is deserving of that same love. Don't hit me, Nirvana fans. I'm just picking.
Don't worry. I think Greg's gonna get you back himself for calling Kurt Mr. Courtney.
Well, it is what it is.
You get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
But social media.
Yes.
If you are on social media, answer the following question: did Nirvana peak at Nevermind?
Y'all, I don't want to be a widow. Like, no freaking no irony included in that.
Well, no. The reason I ask is because
those will be fighting words with some folks.
We'll get into it deeper next week with me and Greg. But did Nirvana peak at Nevermind? And would any subsequent material have been as good as Nevermind was? It's a weird question.
Dude.
Well, you
did jump a pond.
Well, yeah, I did jump a pond. So, with all that in mind, guys, thank you very much for taking the last 2.5 hours to listen to our rambling. We will be back next week. We're going to be doing, like I said, a lot more of these reviews this season. We've got some good ones coming up. We're going to be reviewing books, video games, movies.
All the things.
Everything is iconic except for the stuff that's not. And it's...
Planner stickers, yo. Don't forget me.
Yep. And in the words of Noel Gallagher, it's good to be back. Everybody have a great couple of days, great weekend. We will see you next week. Have fun. See you guys.
Come from different worlds. Okay, so